Now, when you become the owner of an electric vehicle, you have to learn some new terms. When you start fueling the car, you can't talk about litres anymore, or energy efficient terms like litres per kilometre or kilometres per litre. Those are kind of obsolete in an electric vehicle. But instead you'll start hearing terms like kilowatts and kilowatt hours. And if you're anything like me, you'll be a little bit confused at the beginning, but it's not too hard. It'll take a little bit of time, but it does make sense if you think about it. So to make it easier for you, I will give you an example of an everyday item like a hairdryer. For example, a hairdryer is usually rated at 2 kilowatts, which means that in 1 hour, if you were to run your hairdryer for 1 hour, it would use 2 kilowatts of energy. So that becomes 2 kilowatt hours of energy being used. That's how much will be added to your power bill if you were to use that much energy in 1 hour. So if we were to apply that to the charging of an electric vehicle battery, if you were charging at 2 kilowatts in 1 hour, you would have accumulated 2 kilowatt hours of charge. So that means in my car, which is 70 kilowatt hours, it would take 70 divided by 2, or 35 hours to charge for a 2 kilowatt charging rate. Now luckily, the destination charger that's included in your car is not that slow. It normally charges at about 10 kilowatts. So it would take more like 7 hours or 8 hours, depending, to charge your car fully. And if you were at a destination charger, which I've seen it go up to 60 kilowatts, sometimes even faster. So if you were doing 60 or 70 kilowatts of charging at a supercharger, it would only take about an hour to fully charge your car to 100%. So people then ask me, well, how much range can you get out of your electric vehicle? Well, again, you can use that same mathematical formula to work out how much range you get, because each person drives differently. Some people drive faster, some people accelerate more, some people go slowly without touching the accelerator too much. Now I like to think quite average. I'm quite an average driver. I don't speed a lot. I don't accelerate too much either. And the Tesla's pretty good at spitting out statistics like that. It can tell you how much you've driven, or how efficient you've driven for the last 10 kilometers or 50 kilometers, depending on your setting. So on average, I normally drive at about 0.2 kilowatts per kilometer. So 0.2 kilowatts per kilometer, or simply put, 1 kilowatt for every 5 kilometers, okay? Which means that in 1 hour, I would have used, if I were to drive like that, it would be 1 kilowatt hour would get me 5 kilometers. So in my 70 kilowatt hour car, or 70 kilowatt hour battery, it would be 70 divided by 1, which is 70, and then times 5 kilometers per kilowatt hour. So 70 times 5 is 350 kilometers. So, that's about right, actually. If I get a full charge out of my car, I would get 350 kilometers, usually, the way I drive anyway, out of my battery. So that's one way to work out what the range is. Obviously, if you drive like a hoon, if you accelerate all the time, and if you really rev the car and put it through its paces, then that range will certainly drop. If you drive like a grandma, I'm sorry for all the grandmas out there, we love you. I certainly loved my grandma. Rest their souls, both of them. Then you'll get more out of your car. The range will go up. So it really depends. But like I said, on average, I get about 350 kilometers out of my car, which I'm pretty happy with, which is probably about the range of a medium-sized internal combustion engine car, and that's quite reasonable as well. And of course, I'll go into it in further details in another video. But there are certainly other benefits to owning this electric car. Even though the range is smaller, you can charge it every night when you go home. But I'll talk about that later on. Anyway, thanks for watching. More tips to come. Hey, thanks for watching, and thank you for helping us to bring the electric vehicle revolution to Australia. If you've enjoyed our videos, please take a moment to hit subscribe. We would really appreciate it. If you're close to buying a brand new Tesla, then lucky you. Use one of our promo codes on screen to unlock special goodies from Tesla. Happy charging!